because I think you
Okay.
need to explain that statement as well. I think that's a pretty fun way to put what you do.
Mhm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Thea from Ollie at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of South Dakota. We're coming to you today from Vermillion. Betsey's in Vermillion, and she's our speaker. Stacy and I are officed in Sioux Falls, and we're working out of our homes right now. It's a snow day. It's not really a snow day. It's a snowy day. There we go. And we are happy to have you here and learning about this project called Vermillion Rocks. And you're going to learn a lot about it. We do it in Sioux Falls too, and I know you do it all over the country, wherever you're from. This project exists. But Betsey is going to tell us all about it. And Miss Betsey, would you tell us what you do too? Because you are a fascinating person.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me for the class today. I'm really excited to be doing this. My job, what I had explained, being a paid stay-at-home mom, I am a house director for a sorority in Vermillion at the university. So I live with 60 college women, and never a dull moment, lots of fun, and way less drama than you would ever expect. And so with that being said, what we're teaching about today, as Thea said, is Vermillion Rocks. And my table's bouncy. I apologize. I'll try not to touch that much. My inspiration for Vermillion Rocks, of course, came from Sioux Falls Rocks, and they were inspired by another. And I have to give biggest kudos to the people that admin for Sioux Falls Rocks, because when I was getting it started here in Vermillion, I was messaging back and forth with them, asking for advice. They were so amazing at, oh, take and use anything that we've already got. Don't try and rebuild it. Go ahead and use our stuff. So that was really super cool of them. So I do appreciate them. The thing that I love, and so what a rocks group in your area, wherever it may be, is you're kind of there to make someone's day, which is always a feel-good thing. So a lot of times under it, you'll see things. What you're doing is painting rocks to then hide throughout your community, or when you go on vacation, traveling for work, anything like that, you can hide a rock, and hopefully whoever finds it will take a picture, and some people take a picture with it and put it back. Some will, it might be an inspirational thing that they go, oh my gosh, I needed that today, and I'm going to take this home because it made me feel good. Or they'll take it home for a little bit and then re-hide it later. Whatever anybody really feels. So one thing that is posted on a lot of pages is place rocks with only the hope of giving someone an unexpected reason to smile. Eliminate the expectation of seeing them posted, and you will likely be much happier yourself. And if one is posted and you see it, it will just be extra happiness. So those are some good things to remember with the basics of that. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the tools and the resources that you have. A lot of people always think I'm so creative, and I'm not that creative, but I do draw from inspiration. And so you're going to see a lot of that with the rocks. I can't just paint something, think of something and do it. I'm not that kind of artist, but I can take a concept or idea and try and make it a little bit more mine. And that's what a lot of these turn out to be. So one of the first things you need is a rock. And it can be just as simple. There's all shapes and sizes, all different kinds. I started with rocks I would find in the in a rock bed anywhere, around the house or whatever. I have, when my parents had a house out in the Black Hills, I stole some of that shale rock that was thin and flat and brittle. That was kind of a risky one to paint with because it could end up breaking eventually, but that's just what it is. And then I've also purchased rocks. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And it's really not a huge investment. I know in Sioux Falls, there was a rock and landscaping company that was really good about, like certain days you could bring a bucket and fill a 5-gallon bucket for X amount of dollars. And they were really cool about that as well. So look into different resources that might be out there that way as well for you. And then for tools, I am generally, and when I look at my resources and availability in a small town like Vermillion, I don't have a lot of choices. So Walmart is definitely a friend of mine when it comes to this, even though I've never been a big Walmart fan. But it's inexpensive and it's great. I bought, brushes you're gonna need. And I liked this set because it had such a variety in sizes and shapes. I finally got playing and was using this like fan brush, and it's really, you can't do anything wrong with it. This is your own project, your own thing, and imperfections are great. This is a great thing to do with your kids or your grandkids. If it's a snowy day or a rainy day, great time to bust out the rocks and the paint. For the paint, I do like the apple barrel paint, and it's, again, really inexpensive. Sometimes when it's on sale, you're going to be paying $2 to $3 a piece, maybe. With the white one, I go for the big one, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. I eventually got myself a little paint palette, and I love this plastic palette that was like $1, because I can leave the paint in it and eventually peel it out. And if it doesn't peel out, the thing that's great with the acrylic paints is they clean up very easy with water. You just soak it and it's gonna come right off. So in the process of painting, one thing, it's been a lot of trial and error and a lot of looking at what others have done and how they've gone through it. I always like, if I'm not using white, I like to paint a white base on it. It helps with the smoothness, especially with these dark rocks. When it's so dark, some of the colors don't show the same and they pop better if you've got a white base. So that's the advice I would give on that level. And I've got them in different stages here, and I don't know, I probably should have closed my curtain. I've got the start of a sloth. I'm working on him. And so just a matter of finding the pictures, and maybe a friend that's got a love is going to be your inspiration. But also you can go to Pinterest, you can go on Facebook rock pages, all sorts of places to get ideas and inspirations. At one point, for a friend whose child has a rock garden or a fairy garden, I'm in the process of doing a fairy home. And so I've got all the grass coming up, and doors and windows and so forth will be added, and a thatch roof eventually. And that's just the great thing with working with rocks and with doing this kind of painting. If you screw up, paint over it and start over. It's really that easy. Sometimes, and I didn't remember to bring them up here, paint pens can be really nice as well. So like this one in particular, my little bird guy, just painting a basic back color, and then it's literally drawing swoops and nothing more, and finishing off the face. And nobody can do it wrong. It's whatever you want it to be. Broken rocks can have character for different ways and different things. For instance, my in-process M&M, he's partially bitten, so I'm still working on him to get him finished up. But a broken one, I took like this, because it was broken in half. And so I just added my better half. And for somebody, they maybe just, who knows if they just went through a breakup and they found this and they're like, yep, nope, this is going to be my better half for now. I'm going to take a break. who knows? Also, another fun one is beautifully broken. That's the other half of it. So just kind of thinking of different phrases you can write on them. Then on the back, and I'll give you links in a little bit, and this is backwards for you, of course, but post on Facebook, Vermillion Rocks, hashtag Vermillion Rocks. So Sioux Falls Rocks does post on Facebook on Sioux Falls Rocks. Omaha does the same, and so on and so forth. You can hide them. I saw a question come through. Where do I hide them? I think it was. Oh, where do I put them? You can put them anywhere. I have, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. You hide them downtown. You want to be thoughtful of where shoveling might happen, especially if you hide them in the winter. You want to be aware of not having them too much in a grass area where they might be mowed, because you don't want them to get ruined. And the rest, yeah, finding your inspiration is kind of one of the biggest things. Oh, here's one of my finished M&Ms. I like that, Anne. I've seen those. And for some of you that are kitty cat people, there's all sorts of cats that can be done. And so that's just one, or even as simple as making it look like hidden critters. And these are all not my ideas. These are all inspirations I've gotten from others. I haven't tried the mandolin. Is that right? Mandolin, the circles and dots and all of that. But kind of a fun way working with dots is being able to use it as inspiration for your trees and so forth. And you can get creative with foods. You can do all sorts of series. This one is actually the same as one of my tattoos, and it's as little as flattering for the galaxy. And then I had to put Orion in there. And so it's very, very simple. And then has that. A lot of people wouldn't even probably notice this one as a rock that's painted. Working with the acrylics and having them outside, you also want to protect your rocks, because acrylics, like I said, wash with water. And so once it rains, your poor rock would be very sad and distorted. We've got one that I made for my partner of 10 years. He and I like to go fishing. And so I made him a gone fishing one. And it sits on his front porch, and it has definitely taken some hail damage over the years, but it still sits out there and works. But there's two different ones that I like. First, I went with this particular sealant. It's Arlene's original acrylic sealer. I feel like I paid too much for it, and it wasn't, it's good, but it wasn't as much. But I did recently work on another project and found this Krylon thick crystal clear, triple thick crystal clear glaze. So any sort of glaze and covering that you can put on it to protect it is a good thing to do before you hide your rocks as well. Let's see, we're doing okay on time. I just want to make sure I don't hold anyone up. Let's see, share screen. There we are. I'm going to show you just a few things that I have done and been able to work with. For finding rocks, like I said, you find them on property, you can find them in all sorts of different areas. I don't know if you saw that, but the first time I had gotten some rocks, I went to Amazon. You know, no shipping, or shipping costs for me, so I wasn't worried about having to pay for the shipping of getting rocks. You can definitely find a large variety I went with these. A lot of times you do want to clean your rocks as well. Once you get them in, just kind of give them a bath and dry them off before you start going. But the thing with Amazon, you can also find, like over here, you've got the thinner, very smooth. You could go for the already white stones as well. Paint markers are available there too. But then I ended up thinking about it and I went to Tractor Supply. I just didn't even think of that originally. And they have a lot of rock and you can get a lot more for the same price as Amazon. So even if you've got a couple friends or whatever that all want to do this as well, maybe you go for a 30-pound bag and you split 25, this one that I was working with, these Rainforest Pebbles, the dark ones, they're only $23. And you can have them shipped to the Tractor Supply store near you and go pick them up and save on shipping that way too. Let me see, is there anything else that I've thought of? Oh, I was going to share, and I can share this in our group as well, anybody who wants to. Just kind of some of the inspiration that's out there. And this is on our Vermillion Rocks page as well. If you want to join us, you are welcome to. But just, you can go with cartoon characters. I don't always feel that talented. I did try the Minions. They're just fun because you can't really screw those guys up too much. But these are not all rocks I've done. These are pictures I've saved from Pinterest, from other things, and these are my inspiration. And I especially love these guys. They just make my heart happy, and they're goofy, and they're not very hard to do. And you look like an amazing artist doing the simplest things. And some of the different messages you can do, and happiness. I also like to go with helping, going with rainbows, not only because they make me happy and I love when I see them, but I'm also the ally on the board for Vermillion Pride. So rainbows are always a good part in my life as well. Food, like I showed you, I like my hot dog better than their hot dog, but that's just me. And you have your days that you find better or not as good. These are things you could print up if you're working this project with kids, just so that they can get some inspiration. And of course, we love the butterflies. Thea and I learned how to raise butterflies from Thea, and then later helped her teach on that as well. So loving these little guys. And like I said, just inspiration. And let's see, do we have more? Oh yes, Ben, sorry. I see that painting the rocks with a base paint. I did talk about that a little bit earlier. I do recommend putting a white coat on them. The river rocks are great because they're so smooth overall. And some of the divots can even inspire what you're painting on it. But yeah, definitely a base paint is going to make life a lot easier. Let's see, any other questions? I don't have, it's not too much to it. My biggest thing to tell you is find your inspiration, whatever it might be, and have fun with it. Know that whatever you do is the best rock that you made and looks wonderful. I've had people who have wanted some of them as gifts. They're like, oh, can I have that one? I did an angel one, and one of my friends collects angels, and mine was not nearly as good as the inspiration one, but she still loved it because it was something painted by a friend.
Betsy, I can see Leroy is raising his hand, wants to ask something.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I want to tell a couple stories.
Oh, good.
First of all, I happen to be a rock hound. I'm a member of the Western Dakota Gem and Mineral Society, and I'm in charge of the youth center. And if you happen to know a rock hound, oftentimes they high grade their rocks and have calls. And I happen to have taught Sunday school, lower grades, vacation Bible school, midweek, circuit Bible camp. And I actually have symbols. I have a trifold with 49 Bible symbols, like butterflies for eternal life or crosses, or, just, and they can draw those on the rock. And I have 5 rock stories from the Bible. And I actually have a ton of rocks from 2 to 8 inches. So I know a lot of people are from Vermillion or Sioux Falls, but if you happen to be around Pierre, you happen to visit Pierre, you just stop at 327 South Fillmore, and I have them out in my old driveway, and you can pick those for free.
Oh, that's so cool.
So if you happen to be coming to Pierre, just stop over and say hi, or just, if I don't happen to be around, just have your pick there.
Oh, that's neat. That's so much fun. If there's anyone from here on here, definitely take that up. That's so cool.
And the kids just doing animals or flowers, or sometimes they'll come up and they'll use a 3-dimensional, like if it has a little pit or divot. And one of my girls she did radiating crosses all the way in a circle, and other people use the faces for individual dimensions. You can see the ones that actually have a 3D mind for the art.
Right. And I've definitely, as I've been playing with it and doing this, I have had so much fun challenging myself with artistic things and how to pull this off, like for getting a beautiful sunset background and things like that. And it's amazing if you're not afraid to make a mistake, what you can learn how to do. So let's see, I'm gonna escape out of that. I did want to show everyone, if you wanted to join Vermillion Rocks, you're welcome to, but look for the Rocks page for your town for sure, and be sure to join it. There's a couple different Vermillion Rocks pages that have been out there previously, and when I came, though they hadn't been utilized in a long time, so I started my own. So you'll find this Color Outside the Lines rock is our cover for it, and once you find that, you've got the correct Vermillion Rocks for me. And any other questions or fun things you yourself have done with rocks?
If you live in the Sioux Falls area, a lot of times if you're downtown, you find them along the sculpture walk. Like people will put rocks along the base of the sculptures, and it's so much fun to walk down there. I've seen people take their, kids or grandkids down there, and they just go on a rock hunt. And a lot of times people will hide them again or keep them. You can, and any of those things are just fine. Oh, that's cute.
Yep, this is downtown Vermillion. So in the windowsills of businesses outside, I would hide them. And then I'd leave them on some of our sitting benches. And there you can see, just kind of in the windowsill. And we have a really neat art alley that's got a great rock bed decor in it. So I've left them in that. And down around the Platts, we've got a lot of, in the summer, we've got, or fall and so forth, we've got Thursday night music. So that's a great time, where we've got a party on the Platts every Thursday. So I'll go down in the afternoon and hide rocks around in that Platts area on our different structures that people can find. So just a lot of fun. And it's a great way. All of these, when I hid them, I took pictures and then posted them on the page. Keep an eye out. I've hidden some rocks. I need to definitely do that once the warmer weather and snow comes or is gone, and we get back to our warmth. So feel free to check out our page. Feel free to make a mistake. Always okay to make mistakes. It's gonna keep you learning. because I've definitely made plenty of mistakes doing it too. These are
Those
some of
are
that shale rock.
beautiful.
That's some of the shale rock that we had. And I love these little monsters. They just make me smile. And they're simple. So I do the white base coat, and then I'll do the color that I want for the monster and go from there.
Does it just makes your day when you find one?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's one of my minions. Not the
Cute.
best, but they are. You can't screw them up. Oh yeah, one time I did go hiding them while wearing a costume. It gave
That's
people
awesome.
a good giggle. So that's part of
Cute.
have fun with it in
Does
anything
anybody
you're
have
doing.
any more questions for Betsey? I already do Sioux Falls Rocks and love to watch from in other towns. Does anybody else have done it before?
Wow.
That's the angel I was talking about. And I did this one for Mom. She loves her elephants.
Yes. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Oh, Diane says, Miss Betsey, you're a hoot. Love it. That's
Well,
a great
thank
way
you.
to put it. She is a hoot. I've known Betsey for a lot of years. Stacy, I
Already-
see you're unmuted.
yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I just wanted to join in the conversation if I needed to.
Yay.
Oh yeah, there I
Stacey,
am set up.
Have you
Ready?
painted before?
No.
We're gonna have to do it. It's really fun. Maybe we'll do that this summer and at Ollie for a little social get together. We'll paint
We
some
could
rocks
paint
and go
Ollie
hide them.
rocks and hide them.
Right.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, put Ollie on them. And a coupon code?
Right?
There you go.
Goodness.
Yeah, and this is something that, like with the youth groups that I apologize, I do not recall your name again. Was
Oh, Leroy.
it Leroy? Okay.
Yep.
Leroy, with your groups that you've worked with kids, it's a great way to do a project like that. This is something that I could go down to the Boys and Girls Club and, talk to them and be like, hey, I could come in and I can bring everything. Any of the kids that want to do this, they can. Even hosting a community day. I'm a member of the Eagles, the Fraternal Order of Eagles. I could even, we could have a day where come on down and paint some rocks, come have some fun and bring the family and be able to do things like that too. So.
Yeah, Ben says we've done it here in the Northwest. They look good. Ben lives somewhere Northwest state. So that's fun to know that they're all over. Monica says we found rocks at Lake Chautauqua in Minnesota while camping with grandkids last summer. I think this summer on our camping trip, we will paint some and hide them.
Oh,
Yay.
that's awesome. That's a great way to do it.
I
You
know.
definitely, especially in the state parks and things like that, be mindful of where you're placing it. If it, like I like to leave it, I'll leave them outside of the outhouse or whatever they call them,
Yeah.
but the comfort stations. I'll leave it right outside the door of those different times because I know that's a place that'll be safe and not in their paths for lawn care and so forth. So you just want to be mindful of that. But that's awesome. I love that you're going to do that.
That's super. Well, Betsey, thank you so much. I love this, and I think everybody here did too. It gets me excited for spring, and it makes me want to be creative. I think it's just a great project. Thank you for spreading it around Vermillion and being the person that you are, spreading your joy all over the place.
Well, thank you everyone for attending. Thea and Stacy, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Course.
And if you ever have any questions, shoot me a message through Vermillion Rocks and we'll see you then.
That sounds good. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back for a couple more days next week, and we will see you, and then we'll start our regular classes in the spring. So we will see everyone. Have a great weekend. Everybody stay healthy and happy. Bye. Betsy, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having
It
me
was
for
so
this.
much fun.
Funny that somebody said I'm a hoot because I'm like, oh, you didn't even get the half of it.
You are a hoot. It's awesome. All right.
Have
Take care,
have a great
Betsy.
one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.